Hello, this is Manny with Autodesk Motion Builder, Softimage, and Maya support. As we can see, we're in Maya here, and this is a simple technique I use to help me understand skinning between the programs. So basically what it is just a strip here. It's a polygonal strip. It's a grid really with an influence, a skin influence to these three joints, right? So let's orient. Actually, let's take a quick look at the skin. Control A will open the attribute editor, and under skin cluster, notice that I've set my max influences to 3. The first time that I skinned the element, that's what I told it to set the max influence. So each vertex, for instance, this is a vertex here, right there, will have an influence to 3 joints. Of course, it'll have influence to this joint a lot more than this one, and let's see. Let's orient this as such, and notice that yes, of course, those vertices have a lot more influence to this joint than they do to that joint. We can definitely confirm that by taking a look at the component editor and select some vertices here, which I should have probably done before. There we go. So notice that this is the tip joint. On the tip joint, they're almost at 1 on the influence, and on the middle, which is this one here, very, very little, which is normal. Good. Let's bring this down here, and let's just do stuff. I want to just understand how the skinning works inside Maya. So let's go to Paint Skin Weights tool, and middle gives me the first thing I do is obviously you want to select which bone you want to add influence to, right? So this is where you select that. Let's assume notice that as I rotate the tip bone here, I like the way my strip is deforming, which is this here, but I wish it would deform halfway. Perhaps I wish it would have went like between, have influence between this one and this one. In that case, it would be like right here, right? And that's basically what I want. So how do I achieve this? It's not that complicated. Let's right click and go to Paint Skin Weights tool. And notice that now I always think in an additive kind of way. So I want to add weight to which joint. It would most likely be this one, right in the middle. So good, I've selected it, and now I'll set myself to paint and add, and let's go ahead and edit the brush size, possibly with B. Yeah, that's what it is. And add influence there. Oh, notice what happens in additive mode. It's kind of normal because it's going to just keep on adding that value of 0.5 to this area. So is that what I want? Sometimes I want to go very, very light and just add a little bit of influence there like that, and then maybe smooth the whole thing out as such. Cool. In this case, let's say I don't really want that. Let me just do some undos. And really what I want is for, let me just do some more undos. Yeah, that's fine. Really what I want is for the deformation to go like right in between, right? So basically I want the vertices on, let's say here and here, to be really at 0.5 between this one and this one. So another way of doing it is by setting yourself to replace and set a 0.5 value here. So notice that, let me, with the B shortcut, just make the brush a little smaller. So notice that now I'm going to add influence. Notice that if I keep clicking at that area, it won't do anything because it's already set 0.5 to this bone, right, in this area. Good. So that's basically what I wanted in this case. Good. Another way of doing it, of course, is by using the component editor. I don't really use the component editor unless I want to do something really, really precise, like the vertices around the lips or around the, let's say, like on the wrist. I want that edge loop around the wrist to be really between two, have influence really 50-50 between two joints, let's say, or I don't know, 40-60. That's up to you. Let's go ahead in this case and deal specifically with, let's just click Q here and let me select some verts here as such. So notice that the vertices are, each one is is represented here, right? This one represents that vertex and so on. So let me just do an undo here. And so now notice that I may have like 20 vertices selected here. They're all listed over here. So great. Now I want to deal specifically again. I'm going to target one of the joints, which is the middle one here. Select all the influences here. Notice that they're all set to 0 because they have very little influence to this joint here, right? That's definitely normal. And in this case, of course, I want to set an influence of 0.5. So before I click enter, notice what's going to happen to the other values. They will modify themselves automatically to equal 1 at the end, right? So if I set this at 0.5, most likely this value here, this value, this value, this value, this value will set themselves to 0.5. This one will be very close. Actually, this one will be kind of off because there's a lot of influence there, but these ones will be very close, but they will be something like 0.4 or something. So let me just click enter here. So notice basically, yeah, what happened now is it normalized everything. So it's going to average out the weight so that it does equal to 1 at the end. And why is that? Because if we once again click Control A to view, to view the attribute editor here. There we go. Notice that I have interactive set. So this is something you set the first time that you skin the element usually, and interactive does mean that it will normalize the weight, which means average it out, so it can always equal to 1. That'll be it for now. Thanks.